Welcome, everybody, to Dick Storks and Destinies. I'm your host, Chapel, and today with me are Ken and the Kid. And we're continuing our conversation about the quality of writing and how it's gone down and how maybe we have a glimmer of hope for the future. But holy
Eh,
If you
uh,
think there's hope for the future, you're blowing shit out of your ass.
yeah, I highly doubt there's going to be any hope. I mean, after the last episode, we kind of broke off from different places again, still under quality of writing. So, there's one thing I know that we didn't fully cover, and I promised to keep quiet on this one. So, Chapel, take us back to Rebel Moon.
Rebel, okay. Oh, Rebel Moon. Oh, that's okay. So before I get started on Rebel Moon, um, God, that writing was bad. God, that writing was awful.
Okay, before you got started on Rebel Moon.
Okay, before I get started on Rebel Moon, I did my reaction to Twilight. It is recorded. I do have to edit it down for YouTube, but I do plan on putting some others a longer version on our Patreon that I'm working on, and I'll have a raw version, which will just be the straightforward recording. If anybody's crazy enough to actually want to watch that.
So
Oh no, I kind of do.
that right there in itself is horrible writing. So, how was that experience for you, buddy?
Oh, it was bad. Twilight is really bad. I don't even
Did
know
you
why people at the time thought it was good.
did you watch the first film in its entirety, or did you do as I suggested?
Please, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna review. Have to watch the first film again before I watch the next one. I didn't have enough time to do like all 5 films. That's like a 10-hour slog, and that would.
Well, I know I'm not suggesting that you do it in 10 hours. I'm talking about the first film. Did you break that up into two parts, like the first hour and then the next one will be the last hour of it? Because that film alone is 2 hours.
No, I
You
didn't do
know,
that.
I thought you were a little more sparkly than usual, Chapel.
Oh God! Don't even remind me. Jesus.
You sparkly little fucking cupcake, you.
God.
Well, now that you've seen the first film, I've got to ask a question because I know Ken has watched it. I know Crash has watched it. That
You're
first
fucking
scene
hilarious. I've never watched it.
where Bella walks into the classroom and Edward catches a smell of her.
What was
Were
she on her
you
time of the month?
were you not thinking fish market the way he covered his face?
No, no, it wasn't. Actually, I commented on it when. Okay, so Robert and I say this several times in the video. Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart are actually really good actors. In fact, they're so good that because of the bad direction that they were given for their acting, people thought that they were bad actors. Like, I don't.
Okay, I can agree with that. Where an actor is actually good, but when they're given a poorly written script, they're paid not to alter it. So I mean, they're not really allowed to change what they're doing. So yeah, it gives them a bad name.
To give you an example, this is what I'm talking about. Robert Pattinson in that scene was like, "Okay, what am I doing here?" And they're like, "Oh, you're." Instead of telling him the full context of the situation, they were like, "We want you to look disgusted, like you can't stand the smell of her or the sight of her."
Like she hasn't washed in a month.
Exactly. Like, and he was so good at it that he nailed what they told him to do. But because it was so poorly written, people thought he was a bad actor.
I don't know why you corrected me. I was just agreeing with you that actors can
yeah.
be good, but poorly written directors are keeping them trash.
Yeah. Well, the poorly written everything. Okay, so Rebel Moon. So
Yes,
the
that
we're
that
just
gem
gonna
of a nugget.
we're just gonna call it the Republic or the Rebels and the Galactic Empire. The Galactic Empire shows up at a moon, and um, they're like, we need your specific tiny village to produce so many like bushels of barley or whatever the fuck it is, and you get to keep 2,000 of them of the 12,000 that you make, and then
Space wheat.
yeah, wheat. It doesn't matter. Whatever the fuck they want.
Space wheat.
Yeah, and I'm just like, okay, wait. Why do you need that from this? You have an entire moon that you're working with. It's not even the only. You have a galaxy spanning empire. Are you telling me that you don't have planets for exclusively the sole purpose of just producing food? Like that. That doesn't make
I
sense to me.
mean, in the first within the first few Star Wars films that we all see growing up before all the others, isn't Luke on a planet that's its sole purpose is to farm water?
No, no, they're farming water so that they can live because they're on a desert planet. If you want to farm water for the Empire, you would have an oceanic planet.
Okay,
Yeah,
but that
it just so happens that the Empire was there.
Yeah,
But in
that's the
reality,
point I'm getting at is their planet is farming water solely so they can survive.
right. Like that, so that the family, can survive. That's the only reason that they're farming water. They
yeah.
can't afford to leave the planet.
Yeah, the Empire, the only reason they go there is when they have to, otherwise it's still naturally controlled by the Hutt clan.
Well, the only reason they were that the Empire was even at Tatooine was because of the beginning of the movie. They were chasing the rebels. They
Yeah.
captured the rebels, so they remained in the planet because they thought that it might be a rendezvous place. They thought more rebel ships might show up. It makes sense that the Empire would stay there. It wouldn't make any sense if the captain of one of the Star Destroyers flew down in a fucking shuttle and was like, Luke, I need you and your family to produce 5,000 gallons of water in this desert planet.
No, it would make more sense if Lord Helmet just decided to siphon all the air out of the planet for
you know.
Spaceball City.
Well, I mean, it would actually make more sense if Darth Vader showed up on the planet and was like, "I hate sand. It's coarse, and it gets everywhere.
That
I need,
shitty fucking scene.
but I'm so fucked up with the Senate. Get me, farm me some fucking sand so I can just throw it at the fucking Senate." It's
Alright, so I'm just gonna derail this for a real good hot minute.
Yeah.
Who would win, do you think? Darth Vader or Darth Helmet?
Vader.
You sure?
I'm positive.
Vader.
Yeah. Because
I feel like Darth Helmet.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Darth Helmet has kind of some meta things going for him. The problem is that he as a whole is incompetent.
I mean, take away his helmet. He's not Darth Helmet anymore.
No, then he's the Keymaster.
Yeah. Looking for the gatekeeper.
He's the keymaster looking for the gatekeeper on the way to the shrink ray.
Closer. Yeah.
And he has to stop by the florist to feed the plant.
Yeah.
Oh fuck. All right, back on the rail. You're good now.
Okay. So, yeah. So, we all agree.
So,
Quality of writing.
Hey,
Go ahead. Yeah.
So let me get this straight. The whole premise behind Rebel Moon is you have a singular colony on this moon.
No. The moon is populated by a large group of people. Like the moon,
Okay,
it's not
it's like fully populated.
think of like, okay, so in like Return of the Jedi, you have like the forest moon of Endor, but it's like the size of a small planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, think that.
Pluto.
It's like that.
Okay.
So they go
It's like that.
They go to this one tiny village, and when I say tiny, just so you know, it's built like it's not even feudal. Like their shit's made out of straw and fucking wood, and there's like maybe 100 people there, and then they leave like
Okay,
three
so
soldiers
so
that are
kind of like
psychotic. Like it
so
doesn't.
kind of like a feudal era, Warren States era kind of esque village on this fucking planet-sized moon.
Yeah.
Just that one village, but there's multiple other villages like that.
Well, you got it. You're certain. You'd have to be certain because they don't farm beyond where they can see. It's even established in the movie as. I'm gonna make a request.
Okay,
I don't normally do this. Can we move on to a different movie, or even a video game?
We're
Or
getting
show.
there. I just wanted to get this out.
Yeah.
But you've got the small village, and you've got the Galactic Empire, who controls dozens of dozens of fucking like light systems and shit.
Oh no, it's established.
Requesting.
It's established in the movie that the Empire spans the whole of the galaxy at this point.
Okay.
So you have a.
So you've
Warhammer
got the whole
40K
of galaxy.
Yeah, something like the Imperium of Man in Warhammer 40K, and like a fucking ship just shows up. The captain flies down and is telling this little village, "We need you to produce 10,000 bushels of whatever food a year."
Which is not really a problem considering the fact that they already produced 12.
Right. Well, they also
So
sold
now
it to their enemies.
Now they're also taking that away, leaving them with the 2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I can go any further with this because that's just making my brain hurt. Like, why are you singling out this one little colony when there is probably half a dozen or more of those little colonies all over that fucking moon? And on top of that, you are the Galactic Empire. You span across the entire galaxy with unknown amount of planets and moons doing the exact same thing that this little colony is doing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, why? What significance does this little colony bring you when you control the galaxy?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what yeah, it's bad.
Okay. That's my little tick on that one, so it makes absolutely no fucking sense to my brain, so thanks for that one, because I will not be watching that at all. I've seen countless little TikTok shits and everything else for it, but yeah, I'm not watching it.
So,
like, we've established that writing has been bad over the past several years.
Writing has been bad for many of years.
Well, not everything that came out had bad writing, but
I know, no. I'm not saying everything, but there's been some real pieces of work over the past fucking, I want to say, 10 years.
Yeah.
Like this is something that got greenlit in fucking Hollywood to produce, and I make a better masterpiece in the bowl of my toilet.
Yeah.
Alrighty then.
So like, I'm really hoping pretty soon we get some increase in quality in our writing. Um, I know I listen to a lot of audiobooks and I read a lot of books, but like even there's stuff that I'm like, oh my god, I can't with this anymore. It's not often with books, mostly because they're kind of held to a higher standard of writing. But I don't. Okay, so what was it? What last year around this time I picked up a book called A Dark and Hollow Star, and it was like super cheap, and I think it was like 40 or 50 hours. I was trying to get something long and something I could get into. Unfortunately, you know how people bitch, or how some people bitch about how if a writer like is uh they accuse writers who are straight men of not putting like gay people or people of other colors and stuff like that into their books. Well, this writer had the exact opposite problem. They wrote like a fantasy novel, except that and I am not exaggerating, not a single character in the book, with the exception of like the parents of the characters, not a single character in the book was straight. They were all gay, like explicitly gay. It was so bad, so bad. It's one of the rare times I'm just like I'm not even gonna fucking finish with this book. I'm done with this book.
Okay. I have no issue with anything in that area. I mean, yeah, some writers get hit with the you're homophobic and shit because you don't put any gay characters in the book, but it's not, the characters of a book is not about their sexuality unless it is a book that depicts and is explicit in sexual activity in that book.
Right. Well,
Like before we got the atrocities of the 50 Shades of Grey movies, there was the 50 Shades of Grey books. That whole book series, just like a book series I have here at the house by uh, a pseudonym for Anne Rice, because it's her work.
mm-hmm.
The Sleeping Beauty series that she wrote, that is strictly a BDSM style-esque novel.
I'm sorry, what? I'm coming in at the best of times, boys.
Ken's like, what was that? I didn't catch that book series. I'll give you that book series here in a minute, sir. After I'm done
Okay.
with what I've got to say about this. So, I mean, not every character in the 50 Shades of Grey book series, let alone in the one that I'm about to give Ken here, is 100% into that lifestyle. So there's no reason for it to be with every character. So inclusion is fine, but when you go overboard, and aside from, as you mentioned in that series, the parents are the only straight people in the entire series, why include them?
Well, they're pivotal to the story. The problem is that all of the main characters, and before anyone listening goes, well, it's probably only two or three. No, there's like 8 people, and these individuals don't even all know each other. It's kind of built up like the way Game of Thrones was, where you have characters that are isolated away from other characters, and they all live in different parts of the country or the world, and they're all like doing different stuff, but it's all kind of interconnected.
Mm-hmm.
But they're all like gay, all of them, and it's like not a single straight one, not one. That's okay. And you guys will see that reaction during my Twilight reaction. I get to a point where I'm just like, what? And then I explain what I feel, or what I see wrong, and I'm like, okay, movie, let's continue.
Okay. Well, I promised it to Ken, so I went and grabbed all four of them.
Attaboy.
Are you ready, sir? I hope you got this so you can write this shit down.
Oh,
They
I
all
have to-
four are written by A. Period. N. Period. Roqueline or Roquelaire. You have the first book in the series called The Claiming of Sleeping Beauty. The second one in the series is called Beauty's Punishment. The third one in the series is called Beauty's Release. And the last one is called Beauty's Kingdom.
Woo. I have no shame. Leave me alone.
He's going to his Amazon right now.
No, I'm too lazy to go on my Amazon yet.
They all were written by Anne Rice, but under that pseudo name. And they are based off of the fable, the story, the whatever you want to call it, of whatever for Sleeping Beauty. But they're not kid friendly.
No.
Those are the best kind.
Definitely not kid friendly. I mean, not too many of her books really are kid friendly.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure it's not.
Did you know that there's a fourth book to that?
That is, there. What do you mean?
Well,
I think he just gave me all 4 books.
You got The Claiming of Sleeping Beauty, the Beauty's Punishment, Beauty's Release, and Beauty's Kingdom.
Never mind.
That's 4. Yeah, that's 4. Chapel, where were you?
I don't know.
You fucking you're sitting there thinking about Rebel Moon.
Oh, I got that. You know that circle that kind of keeps continuing to rotate whenever
The buffer reel,
whenever it's processing.
the buffering wheel.
Yeah, that's what's on my head right now. It's just, oh god.
Oh crap! Chapel's turned into a Sims character.
His brain is fried right now, and we've got to give him some patience on that one. Between the topic of Rebel Moon and his reaction to Twilight.
I'm telling you, Chapel's getting real sparkly. That's not the sun that's out right now.
So speaking of bad writing, I watched all the cinematics to World of Warcraft to up to date.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So the writing was good right about up until I would say Pandaria. And then after Pandaria, for me the writing started falling off.
Are you talking about the actual like game cinematics that we get for the games?
Yeah. Well, it's not just the cinematics. Like I was there for all of that. I even played up to Pandaria, and the in-game writing was really good, especially during like Vanilla, the Burning Crusade, and Wrath of the Lich King. After that, uh,
Cataclysm got a little dicey.
the thing
Like
was,
it could
is
go either way. That's where it got to.
right
Starting to know how Crash feels now.
when we're talking about stuff that you don't know anything about.
I'm sitting here twiddling my thumb, looking at Facebook.
But to make a
Yeah.
long story short, the Pandarians and Deathwing were actually already established way back in Warcraft 3.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, Deathwing was, but I didn't know the Pandarians were.
Yeah, if you play the expansion with in the Illidan part of the campaign, he actually has a Pandaren join him for a little while.
That was interesting. Did not know that.
Yeah. Anyway, no, it was kind of crazy.
I mean, I read a book that dealt with the, how do I put this? It's the events that fall in between the Mist of Pandaria and the Warlords of Draenor.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Garrosh Hellscream trial that they were holding. And they put, what's his face? Oh, fuck. They put, what's his, Blaine Bloodhoof? He's the current High Chief of the Taurens, right?
Yeah, Bane Bloodhoof.
Because Karn was his father.
Yeah, and Garrosh killed him.
Yeah. They put him as Garrosh's fucking attorney, so to speak, to defend Garrosh. I found that hilarious. Not only are you giving a guy who really doesn't like Garrosh because of the death of his father, but according to all the myth, all the lore, that is just how, I guess, how the Horde works. Whenever they have a dispute amongst each other, they choose a battle to death.
Yeah, no, it's Mak'gara, and that's actually how Thrall's father died. Because it's a one-on-one fight, and you're not allowed to use magic.
Well, I mean that's exactly what happened. Garrosh ended up killing Karn because of the Mak'gara, and it was supposedly a fair fight.
Yeah, but Garrosh didn't know about that. Garrosh didn't know that. I can't remember who it was, but there was a faction that had poisoned Garrosh's axe, so that when it cut into Cairn, he was slowly being poisoned to death.
And it goes, like I said, it goes into it. It's a whole trial, and instead of, I don't know, fuck it, it's the chi fucking beings in Pandera that are judging this. You've got, because I don't fucking remember them all, but I remember the tiger and the crane, and they find Garrosh guilty of certain things, but also innocent in certain actions because he is who he is, and I guess something helped corrupt him, and he was sentenced to serve out the rest of his life in prison, so to speak. Then he ends up breaking free with the help of a gold dragon, and that's the reason why we end up with Warlords of Draenor, because they cross timelines and go back.
Yeah, basically the black, or not the black dragonfly, the what are they called? The Twilight Drakes.
Yep, the Twilight.
Yeah.
It's the evil version of the of the Gold Dragonflight.
Yeah, it's a long story. It's kind of convoluted at this point.
I got a strange one for you.
Yeah.
Alright. So now we're starting to talk about video games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and be that guy. Chat, if you're getting upset over this, I'm sorry. Go fuck yourself at that point. Legend of Zelda. Let's delve in. So, we can all remember
What all do you
playing.
want to say about Legend of Zelda?
Oh no, this is probably gonna be the last half hour of our session. Let's delve in, boys.
I'm cool with that. I'm not as familiar as you are, so I'm gonna have to go and.
I'm not extremely familiar. Like I'm not a devout. Fuck. Especially at my age will tell you I have not played all of the Zelda games. However,
Well,
I
I
have
mean,
played quite a good chunk of them.
I've not played all of them either, so.
So when we started Legend of Zelda, it was called The Adventures of Link.
Uh-huh.
Or no, I'm sorry. The first one was called Zelda, I believe. No, we're gonna look this up. Chapel, proofread it.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, actually.
I want to say the first official was just Zelda. And then it started going to like the Adventures of Link, and then it was the Legends of Zelda, so on and so forth. The point was the whole basis of the original idea. First, it was a top down because that's what it was of its time.
Okay.
It was top down. It was a side scroller. And then they started investing in 3D.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I personally can say I love the Zelda games. They've been solid throughout my whole life until we reach a certain point. Looking at you, Nintendo Wii. Looking at you. After the last, and in my personal opinion, the greatest, one of the greatest written games of Twilight Princess, came the Abomination Spawn that came out shortly after that for the Nintendo Wii. And the Wii U. And the Switch. That is Skyward Sword. When everyone started speaking, that game was highly poorly written. And then, not only did they do that, granted, yes, I will say in a way, yeah, they did redeem Zelda by bringing in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I played Tears of the Kingdom, I played Breath of the Wild. They're solid games. However, here is my issue. And you could use this on God of War just the same. I'm actually getting tired of all these open world games. Look, I understand that makes it so you can add more game time to a game and then it's more worth its money, but I don't know if anyone remembers, but once upon a time, open world wasn't always mandatory or always needed. Sometimes you wanted a little bit of open world, but a straight path story, especially if you're playing a single player game. You put too many open worlds in a pure only single player game, you're gonna get fucking bored after a while.
Okay.
Because there's no fucking ending.
This is where I'm chiming in on that one, and because I agree with you.
Yep, chime in.
But where I'm going in at is the open world, and this is going to show my age because I remember playing Legend of Zelda games on the N64.
Yep.
What was the purpose of the open world in Ocarina of Time? Like
To
you,
give
you did not
you
have to you did not have to go through the entire open world to complete these bullshit side quests Just for what? For extra fucking slots and so on and so forth?
So I think when it came to Ocarina of Time, the whole purpose of like that was definitely during their experimental phase when they started getting the whole three-dimensional and really pushing it to see how far they could launch the game. But even still, and here's the biggest difference. You take a game like Majora's Mask or Ocarina of Time, and then you pit it up against a game like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. At least those two still had a main objective. One main objective, and it was always the same. Go to all the go to all the castles or whatever places. Get the piece that you need from the boss. Get the master sword. Go fight the bad guy. Then you switch over to Breath of the Wild. Here's a parachute. Here's 7 objectives, main objectives. The Master Sword is optional. You don't need to have it. I would know, because I thought it was a straightforward, it was going to make me go get the Master Sword. I fought Ganon with a fucking wooden stick. Shouldn't be possible, but guess what? He died. It's the
Yeah.
point of they took something that they have been using as an algorithm since the dawn of time when it comes to Zelda, and they threw it away. Now, granted, I'm still going to admit, yes, they are decent games, especially when I'm just sitting or laying back in my bed and I want to play something, but I don't really feel like investing a whole lot of brain power. Okay, I'll throw on Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. I'll run around and fight shit all day long. Cool.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe in the first Zelda game, considering that was mostly, like you said, it was top down and scrolling. Most people played that on a Game Boy or some other similar device.
That was on the Nintendo Entertainment System. And
Yeah, that was on NES.
now I'm going to chime in because I have
Go
the
ahead.
exact opposite opinion. I believe open world games are fantastic and we should have more of them.
No, now I'm not dissing that. It's where the problem in lies is anyone that wants that nostalgic feeling of such a classic game is no longer getting that anymore. That has been taken away. Like I said, my absolute favorite to this day still is Twilight Princess for the GameCube. It was slight open world, but it was main objective. You had a directive and a way to go.
Well,
One big path to go.
I think the main appeal of an open world game is you have an objective, it's in a location, and you have other ways to get to it. Like
Which I understand.
you have multiple avenues to get to it. That's one of the reasons why I still play on World of Warcraft private servers is because I enjoy the option of like sneaking around and not taking the direct path of
Which I understand, but it's also just the matter of how the stories are written. That's the other thing about Zelda and what it's becoming. How the story is written. It's Look, I'm sorry, but Zelda is apparently just a dragon now. Who the fuck came up with that idea?
it's really odd. I will say
There's no way that Zelda should have become a dragon. Uh, and now all of a sudden, the Master Sword has been given a title of which apparently it's actually alive now, and it's been alive this whole time. And I'm like, what? No, it's just a sword that was imbued from the gods. It's not alive. You can't tell me that the sword is alive. It's not.
No,
It never has been.
it's alive, and it's gonna get its own character on Smash Brothers.
Chapel, I'm going to hit you. No, that's.
Oh no, that
No,
he's not wrong there.
Oh
It's
my
going
god.
if that is anything that would ever happen with
Yes.
Nintendo,
Oh, I know. It
Nintendo
will get
will
its own
make
character.
the fucking Master Sword its own goddamn character in Smash Brothers.
He'll just float around swinging at people.
Yeah.
Because
That's absolutely
that
ridiculous. Like,
that game, for what fun it is really, really just fucking ridiculous.
no, you want to know what a good Zelda open world game was, and if kid, I hope you've played it, cuz fuck, it was such a good game. Wind Waker.
Wind Waker was fun.
Legend of Zelda and the Wind Waker. That was an open world, but that was fun.
I'll agree. That was fun.
That one was fun. That one was like, because
I'm
they
not going
also
to agree
made
with
it.
your favorite of
Well,
Twilight Princess.
well, that's because you don't have class, and I will fight you. But
Because
you leave.
I found Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, and the Triforce Heroes all three garbage, and I refuse to play any of the two new ones.
Okay. So
There's a fighting word, sir.
I'm going back. I'm looking at the storyline for Zelda. Now, listeners, if you ever decide to write anything, do yourself a favor. Do not write time travel into your story. All it does is make things a lot more complicated for you to have to go and fix.
Yeah.
If you know you're going to have time travel in your story, write it in from the very beginning and make sure you know that from the very beginning that that's what's happening. Otherwise, you're going to come across, how did that happen? Well, now I'm having to rewrite this, and then you're going to make so many mistakes, and it's going to be very, very bad. Time travel.
It's been very bad with Zelda in its entirety because of the time travel aspect. I mean, what's so great about the fucking Master Sword that makes a fucking like 7-year-old elf age over fucking night? So long as he's holding that sword, but when he goes to put that shit back,
Yeah. Then
he
he reverts
he goes
right back
back.
in
He
time.
reverts right back to the fucking 7-year-old before he pulled it out of the fucking stone.
Dude, I can just imagine some skit now. Like, you see the 7-year-old boy, he pulls out the Master Sword, all of a sudden he's an adult. All his hormones just launched through the fucking, his testosterone is just barreling out, and then he puts the sword back, but he still keeps the consciousness of what just happened, and now he's a 7-year-old going, what the fuck? Now I can't bang anybody! What the hell? What? So what?
Zelda whipping out the sword is the equivalent of Mario eating a mushroom.
That's the thing, is Link is the main character.
Not Zelda, but Link. But
Yeah, Link. Although
So
you could still say the same about Zelda and how she's also
a dragon.
throughout some of the games. Well, she's a dragon. She's also a secret ninja, part of the Sheikah Society.
Right.
Like
The
like
bitch goes
she's
from helpless
everything.
princess to fucking kick-ass secret ninja.
Oh, and let's not forget pirate captain. She was also a pirate captain too.
I kind of want somebody to make some fan art where it's just a dragon in a ninja costume with like an eye patch and a peg leg with a really long blonde hair and like pointy ears. Zelda.
No, you also gotta add like some Phantom Spectre stuff because there was also a game where Zelda was dead, where Zelda died and was haunting Link throughout the whole fucking game.
Oh, that's easy. We'll keep all of that. We'll just make it an ethereal version, like you can kind of see through
Well,
it.
we no, we'll what we'll do is we'll add a Danny Phantom little ghost tail.
Yeah, perfect.
Jesus. And then make sure
But
to add her father, who's actually the boat from Wind Waker. Just have him in the background going, "What the fuck happened to my daughter?"
that's what gets me about these games is it's called The Legend of Zelda.
But
Why
yet
are we
Zelda
playing as
virtually
Link?
has Yeah, but yet Zelda virtually throughout the entirety of the game has absolutely nothing to do with the game. It's all about the fabled hero, which 9 out of 10 is for some reason always a 7-year-old unattended boy with a sword.
Well,
Right?
here's the funny thing. Reading the storyline, it's all the same story. It's all just one big story. And the reason why it happens like that is because Zelda, or not Zelda, I'm sorry, Link is time traveling every time he uses the Master Sword.
No,
Yeah,
but
see, the
here's
Master
the other
Sword
thing too.
transformation like that. Go
That's
ahead.
only a portion. The problem and this is why I say that because and okay, so I will admit this is where um this is definitely where Twilight Princess made it get really fucking weird. When you started getting like your secret techniques and stuff, the guy that was helping you was Link number 1. Like the original Link that was actually an adult from the Adventures of Link, and he's sitting there going, "New Link, you are squishy and feeble, and for some reason a teenager. Let me give you some power." And you're like, "What?
Yeah,
Who
no,
the fuck is this guy?"
it's just him. It's just himself from the future. He taught himself everything he knows.
Yeah, see, I see a major problem with this, and this is where I'm going to go with the Master Sword. You've got Link standing outside of a building, says must be 18 to enter.
Whips out the sword. Okay, I'm good.
Here, let me whip out my sword, princess. Let me in.
Sir, excuse me, sir, there's no weapons allowed in here. Shit.
Hey, yeah. You're talking to an elf boy who can't speak a fucking lick of words.
Look
He's
over
the
there.
only one in the entire universe that can't speak.
Look over there. It's Ganon.
Yeah. Look, it's Ganon. It's a big piggy.
I mean, how many times also do we have to defeat Ganon?
Apparently in the actual Loric, only like 2 or 3 times, because apparently throughout the whole franchise, Ganon has only been around a couple of times. But I call bullshit because every end boss is named Ganon.
It wasn't.
Right.
Wasn't the Arcana of Time? Wasn't he called Ganondorf?
Yeah, that's
The
that's
big
his
bad
full
at the
name.
beginning is Ganondorf, and then when you're fighting him at the castle to save the helpless princess, who's also the fucking badass ninja,
Pirate dragon spirit thing.
uh, he after you defeat Ganondorf, Ganon takes over, and
Yeah,
then you've got
it's
the big
like
evil demon piggy thing that you have to beat the
the
shit out of.
piggy.
Okay, so can you imagine what it would be
I
like finally fulfilling all this, being Link fulfilling all of this, and then going, okay, I'm finally at the end. I don't have to go back and forth in time anymore. And then just looking at Zelda going, you couldn't help. Not one time. You couldn't give any assistance, no dragon breath,
No,
no
she couldn't give
teleportation,
anything.
no
That's the thing that
flying.
kills me. Is she's capable of all this shit because we see it throughout the games.
Not even
But
a ninja star.
every time you get nothing but a fucking thank you for your help from the
Yeah.
helpless fucking princess.
And what's her king do during? Well, like, what's her father do during all of this?
He's
Like,
a boat.
what?
We've established that he's a boat.
Well,
He's
yeah,
just kind of floating
in
in the
that
water.
game, yeah, that game. But like, you see all these other scenes where like her father, and I'm like, don't you have a fucking army? You're a king. What are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why do you always just sit there and go, I surrender? What? Why? What?
Stop
Wait,
letting
I'm
your
not done. I
stop
surrender.
letting your
Here's a
daughter
7-year-old boy
get
who's gonna beat you
kidnapped.
up. Yeah, literally. At this point, we need to just hire Liam Neeson to be the
Stop
father.
stop letting her get fucking kidnapped and taken. You're a fucking king. Use your goddamn resources like you're supposed to.
The King of Duridia is about to call Lone Star from. Please save my daughter.
Funny enough, looking back at the Four Sword Adventures, how are the four links simultaneously fighting?
No, they're all different. They're all different colors. They're different.
They're all different colors.
That's the
Don't think
that's
about
the
it.
reason why I can't stand the fucking Triforce heroes.
Although, I will admit, the Oracle of Seasons was a fun game. That one was fun. That one didn't even involve Zelda. That one was just about a hero that was trying to fix the balance.
And on top of that, we've kind of narrowed it down and discerned that the Master Sword is the thing that causes the time travel.
Apparently.
Why does he have an ocarina called the Ocarina of Time?
Yeah, why does he get it? Yeah, and why does he get it from a goddess?
Right.
Who's been in the village for 7 years? And everyone's like, she was born here. Wait, she was a goddess? How was she born? You know what? That's too much. That's too much work to think about. We're gonna play dumb and think that she died or something.
Uh, d- Reincarnation.
True.
Uh, yeah, no, and it's like you're a goddess. Yeah, and
There's just
you couldn't
so
fix
much.
it.
Yeah, literally. You couldn't fix any of this on your own? You couldn't do it. Why did. Dude, if I was Link, I would literally be looking at someone going, why am I here? I got out of bed. That's all I wanted to do was have breakfast. Not
A
good.
seven
Damn.
a 7-year-old fairyless elf boy gets out of bed one morning and now has to save the entire goddamn world
I
at the age
just
of 7,
wanted
all before
breakfast.
breakfast.
Yeah, no. Link's entire life is what most people feel adulting is like. As soon as you get out of bed, the world is on fire.
Has
You have
anyone
to
noticed? Has anyone noticed when you play the Wind Waker game, if you actually like pan the camera over to look at Link's face, 99% of the time he's got the facial expression of why am I here? I don't want to be. I caught that one day. I was running around and not smiling, not nothing. He's got a squiggly mouth and he's just looking back and forth like almost in terror of his surroundings going, I don't want any of this. I don't belong here. I'm 7.
He's giving the same look that James Vanderbeek from Varsity Blues gives. I don't want your life.
Oh Jesus. Yeah, it's and then not to mention Link is also a wolf. Hello, furry fandom. You got your wish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's but the moral is, I mean, granted, the game is fun. The games are fun. We're all willing to admit that, but the story is just not thought out. Like, you got a group of guys or gals, I don't fucking care, sitting there at a desk or out at this table in fucking Nintendo going, alright guys, you know what else we're gonna make? We're gonna make a Legend of Zelda game, but we're gonna add Mario to it. It's going to be Zelda, but we're gonna add Chain Chomps and Goombas, and we're gonna add a bunch of Mario stuff. Fucking bet. Let's go. Why? What is the point? What does a Chain Chomp have to do with Zelda?
It's a pet.
No! It's not supposed to be a fucking pet! Link's Awakening! Why? Why was that made? I swear to God, they keep talking about the wind fish in that game. But you know what I see on the top of that mountain? A giant Yoshi egg. I'm really waiting to beat that game and see a giant Yoshi hatch from it.
How
At
how upset are you gonna be if that's exactly what happens?
I'm gonna chuck the goddamn game out the window and I'm just gonna give you a refund for what I paid for. That's how upset I'm going to be. Oh, I cannot. Every time I go back to that game, like, I have to turn it off. I'm like, this is so stupid. This is so fucking stupid. Why am I fighting Mario shit? Why is there so much Mario shit? Why do I have a Yoshi plushie in my inventory?
It's a crossover, man. It's a crossover event.
I don't want a goddamn crossover of a goddamn plumber playing with a 7-year-old boy!
That sounds so bad. That sounds so bad.
Yeah, it does! Cause guess what? Mario's in his 40s. Link is in his 7! Why?
40-year-old plumber seeks 7-year-old elf.
God damn it. Now I'm fucking pissed off. Fuck.
No one sees what happens in the dark sewer.
Oh,
No.
God damn it. You and I both thought the same fucking thing. Woohoo! And then you hear Link. Yeah! You hear nothing after that. No wonder why Luigi's terrified all the time. Mario, what are you doing? Stop!
It's a me.
Jeez.
Mario.
No!
I mean, that's his catchphrase. It's me, Mario.
Yeah, no wonder why Peach is always at Bowser's castle. She's like, dear God, get him away from me.
Why does this pedophile keep chasing me?
And now he can make all my Toadettes turn into me. Those poor, poor things.
Yeah, you think Mario eventually gets a thing for the Toadette girls?
Look, I've seen a lot of stuff. I'm pretty sure he already does.
I mean, you know,
I mean, he did
that
go on
game,
dates with Bowsette.
that game itself, he's constantly going to the next the next castle because the princess isn't here.
Yeah.
And he's always got a never-ending fucking battle with Bowser just to rescue Princess Peach.
When Peach and Bowser are actually married and they're not enemies because there was leaked proof from an older video game that Peach and Bowser were sharing alcohol together.
Yeah. They were sharing alcohol and making bets on how long it would take Peach's stalker to get there.
Sure.
And how many sons he has to sacrifice.
Yeah, no shit. You see a brain dead, plump little red plumber all of a sudden start running and booking it to a castle with a pipe or with a wrench in his hands, going,
So do you think if he, because he gets real, he like grows whenever he eats a mushroom. Do you think the mushrooms are maybe the baby toads?
maybe, but if I'm
'Cause
being fully honest here,
I always wondered why he didn't just eat the toads, because the toads kind of look like mushrooms anyway, just mushroom people.
I've always
They are
wondered.
mushroom people.
I've always wondered why Luigi is always portrayed as like a scaredy cat. Because if anyone remembers playing any of the Paper Marios, when you would run into Luigi, he was always on some huge ass fucking adventure that you had no idea he was even doing, and he comes back and he's like, "Bro, I was made a king. This is awesome." And you're sitting there as Mario going, just drool coming down the side of your face, going, "Huh." Ee.
That that has more to do with King Boo than anything.
Yeah, but still, like,
Yeah.
Luigi's kind of a badass, and but everyone portrays him as this weak little or this meek fucker that's always afraid of everything, even though he's taller than his brother. He's obviously smarter than his brother.
Well, here's the thing. Funny enough, so you know how the antithesis of Mario is Bowser.
Yeah.
The antithesis of Luigi is King Boo. King Boo is Luigi's Bowser. He's always fucking with Luigi. And the reason why Luigi comes across as scared is because he's always fucking with fucking spirits and ghosts.
Yeah.
You got a point.
Can go through fucking walls and all kinds of shit.
Yeah, you got a point. He's always fighting the phenomenon, whereas and that can genuinely just appear whenever.
Yeah.
Not only is he going through the world helping his brother defeat, the Goombas and all this shit, he's got to deal with all the fucking paranormal shit as well.
Yeah, so okay, so then it's no wonder why when frickin' Luigi is left on a daytime adventure, he's like such a badass because he's like, dude, I fought the dead so many times, I fucked up the living. This is hot.
Yeah.
Or Luigi's fucking. His psychosis has gotta be awful. No wonder why he's always taking mushrooms. Just to take the edge off.
All right. Everybody, that's going to be our time for the day.
Yeah. We are not doing a part 3. Not yet,
No,
anyways.
no, we're not. We don't.
No, this was just a continuation of last week, so.
Yeah. Guys, hope you enjoyed. We will be dropping this one soon. I will also be dropping it soon on my new channel in YouTube, Kinslayer and the Booyah Goblin. Check it out. There is stuff about to drop in there real soon.
Heck yeah. And when he's streaming, I might be joining him.
Quite possibly. We're going to do some horror games. We're going to do maybe some online games. And we'll see how this goes.
All right. Well, you all have a wonderful day, and we will see you next time.
Peace.